Hey guys, so back with another video, and this time we're going to try to create a functioning app. It's just very simple. Um, so it has a background here and a light bulb. So when we toggle the switch, the background will change and the light bulb will change as well. So kind of to illustrate, when a room lights up, everything is bright around it, and you can see inside it's a hollow bulb. So off, on, off, and on. Okay, so I built this in Xcode, but to illustrate this, I'm going to be using Swift Playgrounds because I find that the preview here is a lot more responsive and faster than the one in Xcode, and for at least the purposes of this app, the functionality, it works just as well in Swift Playgrounds. So there's a few things we need to do first. We need to change this V stack into a Z stack so that we can have we can control the background color, right? And our V stack needs to sit on top. The V stack needs to sit on top of the V stack. So I'm just going to start with the color here, UI color. So I like teal, and should be UI color dot teal. Okay, and there we have it. And I get my nice background here. If you're in Xcode, I think you would need to do something like ignores safe area, and then because it might be clipping off like somewhere down here and at the top with the bezels. So if you add this on, then it'll cover the entire screen like that. Okay, so now that I have this background color, I want to, as you can see, our app, it has an image here and it has the switch. So I want to start with adding that image, and it's a system image. Let's just start with system name, and I know that it's called light bulb. So this is an image provided by Apple already, and you can check which images and icons they have in SF symbols. So I just want to resize this, so call the resizable on that, and then as you can see it goes like very big, and then I want to change the aspect ratio. So I think I will use fill. You can use fill or fit. So with fill it maintains its aspect ratio and scales proportionally to fill up the given space. So you have to constrain it within a frame, and frame takes a width and a height and an alignment. By default the alignment is center, so I'll just give it a width and a height of 200, and yeah, it shows up really nicely here. So we've got this now, and we know the switch is a toggle. Okay, but I won't make this right now because this will need a binding variable. So this app is dependent on, it's going to be dependent on state, right? So if you haven't used this one before, state is like a property wrapper. This is a property wrapper here in front of state, but it manages our variables that are linked to some views in the app, right? So that when the data changes, it will update our app as well. It will re-render our app. And in SwiftUI, in UIKit, we would have needed to do this manually, but in SwiftUI, this is all done for us. So I'm just going to make a variable called is light on, right, to make it very clear that we're keeping track of the light to see if it's on. it's going to be a type of a boolean, and initially I'm going to set it to false, right? So actually we saw before that the background color also changes depending on whether the light is on or off the switch down here. So I want to now make this image conditional, and the way to do that is by using a form of an if statement, but it's called a ternary operator, and that one can be written on one line, and it does essentially the same function. So it checks the condition, and the condition we're checking for is light on, so it checks for true or false, right? And then left is true, so whatever is on the left side is what is executed if the light on returns true. So I want to give this here we're checking for an image, so this is what will happen if the condition is true, and if the condition is false, then we will have light bulb dot fill. I think this should work. Just give it a moment. What's it saying? Expected. Oh yes, it's not a comma. This is meant to be a semicolon like that. Alright, so yeah, like we said, if it's false, then the right side is executed. So watch what happens now. If I change this to true, you'll see that our image here will change. Alright, and we want to use this variable again for the background color. So what is happening here? Oh, sorry, this should actually be in a VStack. So I will just clip this and embed this in a VStack, because I'm going to put multiple objects on top of each other. Alright, so now we have this color which is hard coded, but we also want to apply some conditional check as well for this one. So I will also cut this out, and again we start with the condition that we're checking for, and the one we're checking for is light on, right? And if it's false, sorry, if it's true, we execute the first one here. So if the light is on, okay, sorry, I'm just sometimes I get a bit confused, like which side is which can be a bit confusing. So here we're checking if the light is on. If it's not on, then we get this side. So the right is false and the left is true. So left is true, the light is on the left side. So this is where we want the yellow color, right? So we want to give the UI color dot yellow here on the left side. This is when the condition is true. Otherwise, when the condition is false on the right side, we want the system teal that we had, right? So now that the light is on, you can see it's true. And if I change this to false, then you'll see the bulb will change and the background will change. Okay, awesome. So obviously the user of our app won't be able to go in and change the source code like this. So we have to give them a way to interact with our app, and that's going to be through the toggle switch. And so we have our toggle switch here, and it takes a title and a binding, right? Binding is the way that we can directly modify this value here from our view, and you could give it a name. I'll just call it switch, and for the binding we use the $sign, right? It'll change the state into a binding variable, and then is light on. Okay, so now we have the switch, and if we use it here, we toggle and we'll see everything works perfectly, except that, you know, it's just it's a bit funny there. It's like, so we want to apply some padding, so hopefully it moves down a little bit. I will just give it maybe a padding of 100. Okay, this looks a bit better. And okay, so actually I can hide this one, that text over there, so you can hide it depending on if you want to keep it or not, and use this modifier called labels hidden, and then that will hide that for you. And so essentially that's it. That's our working app. And if you want to do something more like change the foreground color of this to make it so that when it's off it's black and when it's on it's white, you can also do that. I'll give that a try, though I don't know how it's going to look with this yellow because it's already bright. Maybe I could change it to orange here. See, so when it's on it will be orange, so like a warmer color. Oh, it looks a bit red. But okay, for the sake of not making this video too long, I will just stop it here. But essentially we are using this this variable here, and checking the condition, the state of it, to see if it's false or if it's true, and then these views are dependent on it, the color and the image, and every time we change the state it's re-rendered. So these views that depend on this data are reconstructed again. So that's an illustration of state, and as we can see it looks quite similar to this one, which is what we were trying to build towards. So I hope that you found that video helpful, and stay tuned because I'm going to be making more